Hey there. This is Corey Thompson, your academic advisor. I wanted to make this video because a lot of my students have trouble registering for a class that is typically required for their health science program, which is anatomy and physiology. So, what I'd like to do is go over what your options are and how to register for those classes. So, anyone who needs to register for Anatomy 1 and 2, there are no barriers for Anatomy 2 as long as you've passed Anatomy 1, clear avenue to just go ahead and register for that class. However, if you need Anatomy 1, the requirement is to either take the A&P assessment, which requires you to sign up for exam, study for this exam, score a 70, and then the biology department will then review your scores and then give you an override to register for that. That takes a couple of business days. So you'll take the exam and then those scores will be sent to the biology department. From there, the biology department takes a couple of days to automatically manually just go in and give you those permissions to register for the standalone anatomy 2401. Now, this is not the same case with 2404. 2404 is the introductory course, which is needed for programs like radiology or LVN. And so those introductory courses don't require the override from the department. But if you're wanting to take the standalone by itself, 2401 does require an assessment, or you must have proof of an official transcript with a college level biology course. Now, that also does need to go through the biology department, and that will take a couple of business days for them to review those records. There is a permission slip on the biology form to request the department to take a look at your transcript and review your coursework. And then they will take a couple of business days to then look at your completed biology classes and then either provide you an override or provide you more steps or give you the outcome saying that, it wasn't approved because that wasn't passed with a C or higher. It all just depends on the case by case. So as of now, if you're wanting to take a standalone biology 2401, you need to either take the assessment or have completed a college level biology. If we don't want to take a test and we don't have a history of passing a college level biology, well, then the requirement is to take Biology 2401 paired with Biology 1308. These are co-requisites. The same group of students in one is the same group of students in the other. There is no assessment required, and there's no barrier that will block you from self-service trying to add these to your schedule. The hard part is finding out which courses are linked. They must be paired by the exact same course code in the course description. And so this is where we have to go in, read the fine print, and make sure that the very down to the very last digit that these classes match. If they do not, then mixing and matching a biology 2401 and 1308 is not going to get you the outcome that you need. But taking biology 1308 by itself is not going to give you permission to take anatomy the following semester either. It is not an approved college level biology. So what we need to do is be careful about what we're taking, making sure that we're reading the fine print in the course description and adding the right pair, or taking the assessment and submitting the forms for a transcript review so that the department can review the classes you've taken in the past and give you that override. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's get out of this screen here for the department website. Let's get rid of this. All right, so on the ACC main page, the biology has the Department of Biology has a link here that gives you all of the course instructions for how to register for 2401. It tells us that completing 1308 or a non-major biology does not automatically qualify you for the 2401 course. But if you have had any other courses, you're going to click this blue hyperlink and it takes you to the transcript review. Now, students will need to submit that transcript review in a certain time frame. Again, they stop reviewing things at a certain time frame, and it will let you know when you click in that when they're reviewing, and it's going to typically be like right before classes begin. That the test period is also at a very specific time and day, so they have designated testing dates we can see here. when the test for spring opens and closes, when the test dates for summer open and close, and when the test dates for the fall semester open and close. Okay, and this is about 2 weeks before the semester began. So we can see that they have a cutoff. So we need to know, all right, well, when is it? What have we done? Do we meet the eligibility for having a potential transcript review and being able to be overridden so that we can take that? Or do we need to just go ahead and try and find a pair? Okay, now these paired courses fill up very quickly. And so, what I can say is the early bird gets the worm. Whoever is planning and preparing in advance is going to be the first person in line to get that seat. Knowing when your registration window opens up is crucial to, finding out when you'll be able to actually click the button and secure yourself a seat. Just planning isn't enough. So let's find out how to do that in self-service. Now we can see the standalone, traditional standalone. We're going to take the A&P assessment. You can see the A&P assessment info. Here's again that transcript review. And then we can look at the paired section. There's no assessment required, and you can see the times and days here. But we're going to go do that in self-service. If you decide that the test is something you want to go ahead and try to do, well, then there's assessment preparation here. There are some objectives that we can take a look at. You can see the modules and prepare and test yourself, test your knowledge before you just jump right into that. And then you'll have to purchase that assessment. So you're going to pay for the assessment and then take that at the testing center. And you can find the closest testing center to you here. Okay. Let's take a look at self-service. This is where we plan, register, and pay for our classes. And we're going to take a look at biology. We're going to search for 2401 and hit enter. Now, this is how we find the paired sections for the term that we're looking for. This is going to pull up the course that we just searched, and we need to filter for a few things. The first one is the term. I'd like to take this in the spring of 2026. So then we'll click that. And then we're going to scroll down to course type. When we show all course types here, I can see how there are some zero textbook cost section. There's some early college high school, which is for students that are still enrolled in high school. But I want to see the paired course options. So we're going to select that there. And then it's going to pull up the only two options that we can take with Biology 2401. It's going to be this and that. So let's click this. View available sections, and we can see when these classes are, when the times and days are. If I decide that this Monday, Wednesday, 10:30 time frame works for me, note that there is time for lecture and time for lab. So I won't get out of lab until 1:20 on Mondays and Wednesdays. But these classes are typically staggered in format. So Monday, Wednesday is when we would do the anatomy, and then not every time, but sometimes it's pretty common that the biology 1308 would be on the alternating day, Tuesday and Thursday. So let's go ahead and add that. Here we're going to see how it's paired 002. That's the only class that can be paired with this. If we were to add another, it wouldn't register you for either one. So we need to be very careful about that. We'll hit add section. And then we get a green check mark once it's planned. You're going to also come back to your plan and schedule so that we can see what we just added here. So here's your biology, Monday, Wednesday, but it says you must also take biology 1308. We're going to click this hyperlink. It's going to bring up the only class that is allowed to pair with that class, and then we'll hit add section. And just as expected, it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that alternating day. So we'll hit add section again. And then you have this green check mark planned here. Let's go back to plan and schedule. Don't worry about these holds. That's just there for my record there. Monday through Thursday is when we would be expected to be in this course. Okay. So Monday, Wednesdays is A&P. And then Tuesday, Thursdays, we have the biology fundamentals. This is what the course should look like. There are some options where we have a hybrid. There's a lecture that is online with an in-person lab. There are some completely 100% online biology 1308 and in-person biology 2401s, but they are still linked in the course description. So just because one class is online doesn't mean that the other one is the online format as well. So please read the fine print. Please click inside that course description and read it down to the last detail before you add it to your schedule. Now, we need to find out when our registration window opens, and that can be found on the current students page. And then we'll look at planning and registration. We'll click on registration and important dates. And there's a drop down menu for the spring. This is when we're trying to find out when my window opens up. So it goes off of ACC credit hours. It does not include your transfer credits. And so if I'm a new student, or I'm currently in my first semester right now, and I'm enrolled in 12 credits, it does include the credits that are in progress. So that's great, which means I have 12 credits, but it's still under 14, which means I would register on Friday, October 17th. Now that is at midnight. So if you're a late bird and you want to stay up on Thursday the 16th, you can do that. As soon as it hits midnight, then you'll be able to click that registration button. It should turn blue right at the strike of midnight, as long as you don't have any prior holds, you don't have any payments that are due, and if you don't have anything blocking your registration, you should be able to click that blue button. It's important to meet with your advisor or email your advisor to make sure you don't have any holds before that registration window goes live, so that you can click with ease and be able to secure the seat in the classes that you need. So I'm always available via email. Love chatting back and forth about, hey, here's the classes that you need, and you're good to go. If you feel like you need to discuss a few things, well, then that's going to warrant an appointment, and my appointment links are live. I believe that goes over everything that we need to know in terms of anatomy. Be careful about which anatomies you're adding. Is it the introductory course, or is it the full in-depth study of Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2? And then if we need Anatomy 1, are we taking the assessment? Are we asking for a transcript review so that the department can review our college level previous biology history and give us an override that way? Or are we going to go with the paired option and look and search for the right description that links these two classes together so that you can add them and take them together? I know that's a lot of information. I'm always available via email, and we can definitely plan these classes in our appointments together. So I hope this information helps. If I get a lot of questions about this, which I always do, I will be sending this video first. It doesn't mean that I don't want to answer your question, but it means that I want to get you your answer fast, and I don't want you to wait for my appointments to be done for you to plan your classes. So I hope this helps. Again, thanks for watching and have a great day.